Welcome to another video of Sonic Gazelle Pilot. I'm in the process of making a tutorial series for flying on VATSIM. VATSIM is the Virtual Air Traffic Simulator. In part 2, I will explain you what levels of controllers you have. As you can see here on the left hand side, there is different ATC frequencies that you can tune into. You will start usually with delivery for having flight clearance. So asking, for instance, for a flight departure to Frankfurt. Then you will contact ground for startup, request to start up the plane, pushback, request to push back the plane and prepare for taxi and for taxiing. The next level is tower. Tower is when you are on the runway and ask clearance for takeoff. Then once you are airborne, you will contact departure to ask for the climb altitude, or at the destination airport you would contact approach for asking for landing clearance. And at the top level you have radar, also called center or control, and there you will have minor instructions like change your altitude or maintain your heading or change your heading, etc. Now, these levels can be seen on VATSPI. VATSPI is a tool that shows you what ATC is online. And I will give you an example that has them all for the moment online, which is here in the north of, what is this? Is Poland? Germany. Well, as you can see, this airport here, Echo Delta Delta Hawaii, which is Hamburg, has delivery, ground, tower available. So the lowest level delivery, you can see the frequency here is 1:1.805. Then you have ground at 1:1.705. And then you have tower at 1:6.855. Then on the next level, if you zoom out, you have Hamburg approach and departure, both for when you have taken off from the runway or when you arrive and want to land. And at the highest level you have Bremen radar, which is exactly the levels that I have depicted here. So next up, how do you communicate with a VATSIM control tower? Well, first of all, you have to address the right controller. You have to say, I want to talk to delivery, or I want to talk to ground, or I want to talk to tower. Then you have to give your call sign. For instance, if you are a British Airways 8422, you would say, I will explain this in a later video why this is so, but you would say Speedbird 8422. And then you have to say where you are. For instance, if you are inbound to an airport, you would say, I'm so many miles from the airport. And then you say what you want. For instance, you would say, I am ready to land. Now, in this example here, we have at the bottom an example where I say Gatwick approach, Oscar 8422, that's my call sign, where I am then, altitude 4,000 feet and 5 miles southwest of Gatwick, and then what I want, inbound for landing. Now, let me give you an example for taxiing. Let us say that we are here at gate 231 and we want to take off from runway 27 right. So we could expect that we will taxi via this route here, via Bravo. And then we would take a left and taxi via Alpha. And then here to Alpha 3, where we would access the runway. So Bravo, Alpha, Alpha 3 can expect it. How is this done when you talk to ATC? Well, first of all, this is taxiing, so you would talk to grounds. So it's important that once you get the instruction from ATC that you repeat it. You have to repeat it so that they have the confirmation that you understood what they mean. So in this example at the top you can see Heathrow grounds. So it starts by the controller. Oscar 8422. As always, we use our call sign. Then we say where we are. at parking gate 231. And then we say what we want, request taxi. Now, ATC will give a response that always starts with your call sign. So they will start by saying Oscar, Oscar 8422, and then they will give you the instruction. Taxi via Bravo, Alpha, Alpha 3, hold short, runway 27 right. And then what you do is you repeat it to confirm that you have understood it, and you append your call sign. So, taxi via Bravo, Alpha, Alpha 3, hold short, runway 27 right, Oscar, Oscar 8422. So this is how you communicate typically with ATC. It's always the same pattern. Let me give another example. Let's say that you fly in a Cessna and that you are going to do a left-hand entry pattern for the runway. So you will arrive, fly downwind. You can see the wind is blowing this direction. And then you will turn left and left to enter the runway. How would you communicate? Well, first of all, you have to communicate with approach. So you would say Gatwick approach. Oscar, Oscar 8422. Again, the controller, your call sign. Then your location again. Altitude 4,000 feet, 5 miles southwest of Gatwick. And what you want, inbound for landing. And they would answer then something like Oscar, Oscar 8422, left-hand entry pattern, runway 16. Report when runway in sight. And you would typically answer and repeat it by saying left-hand entry pattern, runway 16. Reporting when runway in sight. And you append Oscar, Oscar 8422. Now, it is important to know that sometimes not all controllers are online. In that case, there is a top-down principle. Take a note of this blue arrow. If delivery is not there to give you clearance for your flight, you can talk one level higher to ground. If ground is not there, you can talk one level higher to tower. If tower is not there, you can talk to approach or departure. And if approach and departure is not there, you can talk to radar, also named center or control. Let's try an example. If I have a look here on the map, for instance, I notice that let me find a good example. Well, here there is no ground, there's no delivery, there's no tower, but there is approach and departure. Let's say you want to taxi or you want to ask clearance. Clearance would usually be done to delivery, taxi to ground. Well, in that case, you will contact GRAS approach and you request your taxi. Something in the line like GRAS approach, Oscar, Oscar 8422, request taxi. This is how the principle works of top-down communication in case that some are not available. Let me give an example. Earlier on, we said Heathrow ground, Oscar, Oscar 8422 at parking gate 231, request taxi. Now, ground is not available here. I have given a green dot to show the first available frequency. We see the first available frequency when we bubble up is approach departure. That's why you would say Heathrow approach, Oscar, Oscar 8422 at parking gate 231, request taxi. Let me give another example. Here, I take the example where only the highest level, radar or center or control, these are synonyms, is available. Now, we wanted to, we are flying to the airport and we want to ask clearance for landing. So, normally you would ask clearance for landings to the approach frequency. So that would have been Gatwick approach, Oscar, Oscar 8422, altitude 4,000 feet, 5 miles southwest of Gatwick, inbound for landing. But as approach is not available and the first bubble up is center, we will say London Center, Oscar, Oscar 8422, altitude 4,000 feet, 5 miles southwest of Gatwick, inbound for landing. So this is the basics of the top-down principle of different ATC instances and of how you structure your sentences and repeat what ATC tells you to communicate with ATC. It is something I will elaborate on in further videos. I will go into detail what you can expect for communication instructions at delivery, at ground, at tower, at approach and departure, and at radar center and control. So at each level of the flight. But what you can do, if you look to my first part of this video tutorial, we'll see how you can connect actually from the flight simulator to ATC. Well, what you can do is try this, your first ATC call. Say that you're at Heathrow and Heathrow ground is available. You simply say Heathrow ground, then your call sign, Oscar Oscar 8422, radio check. There's a way to ask, do you hear me? And ATC will then normally, if everything goes well, answer Oscar Oscar 8422. Read you 5 out of 5. And with this, you can have your first ATC call with VATSIM, and this will work. Now stay tuned, because I'm going to continue this tutorial and learn you to fly on VATSIM. Bye bye from Sonic Gazelle Pilots.